Saludos y bienvenidos a todos to episode 59. What? 59 of the PGP podcast. Hey, Josh Tobar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA. Starting off summer, my understanding is the East Coast is done. That means that we're officially into summer season. So everybody right now is out there. You know what, Moreno? I see a bunch of people drinking on the beach, allegedly reading their PD books. It's okay, se vale, it's all good. Hey,
it's all good.
What? This is the time for you to sharpen that saw. Yeah, I'm old school, of course. Sharpen the darn saw and make sure that you're ready. But you know what? This is a time where you use the free PD because remember, we are part of the Fantastic Four, which is nonstop free PD. You got yourself Coach Hurt, that's all about data. He's breaking down data right now. He is your wizard of knowledge. So if you need somebody that breaks down the data, that cat right there. If you want to know how to turn around a school, the Doctors with Tammy and Shika at 10:30. All of these are Facebook Live, East Coast time. And do I need to say anything about Jefe? I don't need to say anything about Jefe. Principal Cafele at 10:55, and we are the bookend, the fourth show of the Fantastic Four. So make sure that you follow all of us. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Your time is valuable, whether you're watching us live right now or you're watching us in the rebroadcast. We really appreciate you. Hey, Dr. Moreno, welcome back. How you been?
Josh, thank you so much. You know, I feel so bad sometimes when I'm absent, but you know what? I'm doing great things. As long as you know that I'm doing great things and I'm taking care of what I need to take care of, whether it's schools, whether it's in another country, I know I got your back, buddy. And I'm super glad to be here. And you're right. It is summertime. And I know so many people out there are relaxing and enjoying. And this is the best time to go ahead and sharpen our tools and get ready for another year.
Awesome. Exactly. And like I said, thank you. Please like it and share it. You know what? When I'm listening to Jefe, I'm listening to all the podcasts that I do. I honor their time because they're providing me with free PD. If you know anything about the things that I do, I always try to broadcast the greatness that are those shows. So take 2 seconds, like it and share it. Trust me, there is no monetary thing going in my pocket. I don't have a 7-story mansion. I don't have 7 pools and a tennis courtyard. It's just about making sure because today, like all the other days, have you seen our lineup? It is sick.
Wow.
This lineup is sick. Districts pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for the people that we have today. So please make sure that you like it and share it. And if you want to be part of this, we need you. Hey, Iowa, this show needs you. Hey, Nebraska, this show needs you. Hey, Alaska, I want to know about you. So whoever you're out there, you bring something to the table, we need you. And hopefully I got the issues with Facebook fixed. Hey, Moreno, I hear you're going to some continent. Where are you going?
I'm going to Africa. I'm going back to Tanzania to support Promise Village Academy. It's a pre-K 3 through 6th grade. And so I'm going to go do some PD with the teachers and students there. And then my new country is going to be Rwanda. So I'm going to Rwanda, spending 5 days out in the villages. They're going to throw me out there. I'm actually learning Kinyarwanda right now because they're going to throw me in a village somewhere and they don't speak English. So I'm kind of learning a little bit. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'll be there for a month. So you know what? I'm going to love you, but I can't get up at 3:00 in the morning to join the show. So just love me and and think about me.
Number one, I had a student that spoke Kinyarwanda and we looked at each other like the hands. So I got you. And there is no way I want you to turn on no light at 3 in the morning so the pack of hyenas could come and get you. So you stay nice and safe, all right?
Josh, no, I lose. So I couldn't even help you.
So my Chinchilagua moment real quick. If you don't know, Sean Kane, he don't know about Chinchilagua. Eric Francis, he might because we've been on the show before. John, now he goes to Mexico a lot, so he might know. Chinchilagua is a Mexican game where the whole family lines up and we yell, Chinchilagua y arriba, boy, and you run and you jump on top of your cousin. You say it again, you jump, and everyone's piling up on top until it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Someone falls down, a little kid cries because he broke his skull open, whatever it is. Grandma comes out with a belt. All right. Well, it's all fun and games. My Chinchilla moment today is this. It's all fun and games when you get the job. And you're so happy. You go to Dave and Buster's and you're spending money you don't have yet because you don't get paid for 2 months, or you whatever it might be. My Chinchilla moment is this, and you know what? I had a great TASSP. Shouts out to TASSP and the conference that they had. I had an interaction that you really showed me a lot of what I believe in, and I believe 100% in professional loyalty. And every time that I know somebody, especially like the lady that made me, I always post pictures about her. Every time I go back to El Paso, Millie Williams, without her, I'm not an administrator. And the people that opened doors for me, I learned, it gave me a quick flashback of people that have opened doors for me. I believe that. And I saw that a lot this weekend, especially with one individual. So my Chinchilla moment to you is this. Hey, you cannot say you're going to forget. You cannot say you don't have time. Everyone's done with school. If 15 years ago that principal's still working, send him an email. Thank him for opening the door for you. That person that allowed you to get the first chair as an assistant principal, send him a thank you. That first person that allowed you to become a principal, thank him. Because you didn't get there. Yeah, we all got there. Yes, we all worked hard. We all did the papers. We all went through the interview committees. But you know what? People needed to open doors for you and speak your name. And if they spoke your name, please make sure that you thank them, because we didn't get here alone, especially in a highly political game that is education. And we're going to learn about that from next week's guest, Glenn Robbins, Superintendent Glenn Robbins. What are your thoughts there, Dr. Marie Moreno?
Oh my God, Josh. You know what? I actually had lunch with the gentleman who hired me as a teacher. Remember, I went in through the whole, different route of alternative certification, but he opened the door and he says, hey, you need to be a teacher. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be the administrator I am today. The principal who hired me as an assistant principal, we text message. So you know what? It is so special. I'm glad you said that, because we do have to at least acknowledge and say hello. They're not working anymore. At least my folks are not. But you know what? They're still doing great things in other places. And so they need to kind of hear from us and be thankful. We don't hear that very often. So I love the fact that you said that, and you're absolutely right. And I encourage everybody out there to do the same.
Someone opened the door for you. Thank him. I don't like him. We got in an argument. I left his or her school. They were evil. I left their school. So what? They opened the door for you to this new adventure. So be loyal. Be good. Be kind. It always comes back to you. I guarantee you. I've learned that in our business. Todo se paga. Todo lo bueno y todo lo no bueno se paga. Todo se paga en esta vida. You pay for everything, either positive or non-positive out there. So please be kind. Those people that open doors for you, thank them, appreciate them, send them a thank you card, an email. No one, as Principal Cafela says, no one is hard to find on social media nowadays.
Exactly.
Send them a thank you. And today's show is our curriculum show. But you know what? You can't get into the actual delivery of instruction without discipline. So I ask you to go back to episode 41, our discipline show, with Teresa Hodges, Kevin Curtis, Jonathan Cranford, Ryan Scott, and Sam Perone, our SRO. Just remember, you could have a great lesson. And just like Mike Tyson says, everyone had a great lesson until everyone had a great game plan to fight me until they felt the first punch in the mouth. And then that plan went out. Well, that's discipline. But you know what? Today's objective is to bring in top-notch presenters. Look, guys, it doesn't stop on the PGP podcast. These are national presenters. These are authors, Solution Tree published authors. I mean, they go out everywhere around the United States, around the world. They're presenting. And today's focus, and I asked them before the show, was geared towards a new administrator, AP or principal, and also on how to help new alt-cert teachers and or new teachers that took the traditional way, because we know there's less of those than there are alt-cert teachers. Mm-hmm. And it's about the delivery of instruction, because all the discipline issues happen, they all happen when you don't plan accordingly in class. You cannot give idle time to kids. Yes, Texas could make a law. No cell phones, but it don't matter. It don't matter. If you don't have structures in place in the classroom that will keep them engaged, just don't bore me. Because you know what, educator? I'll tell you this before we get into our guests. You might have the best lesson, but if it's boring, the kids are going to tune you out. Just like when us as adults, we go to central office and they say, teach in an engaging, differential way. Teach it. And then they're talking to us from a PowerPoint. Really? Really? Really?
They're reading the PowerPoint, Josh.
You're showing me how to engage kids by talking to me from the PowerPoint? Por favor, cáeme bien. That's not the way that it works. But you know what? That's why we have these awesome guests. Stick, Dr. Mara Moreno, take it away.
I'm super excited to have all of you here. I'm telling you, it is going to be the show for the summer because all of you have your own different style and your own different way of pulling from delivery of instruction. So I'm super glad to hear from all of you guys. But before we get started, you guys, I want to, Eric, we're going to start off with you. Okay. So I need for you to tell me and tell the audience, please, a little brief background on the different roles that you've served in education. And I want you to tell everybody which one was your favorite and why.
All right. Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eric Francis. I am an author, educator, and presenter. I write books on education. I've written 3. Now, that's a good question for ASCD, Deconstructing Depth of Knowledge, Inquiring Minds Want to Learn for Solution Tree. I have been a classroom teacher at the middle and high school level, primarily English, but I did teach out of my content areas. I was a site administrator for a small bit of time, which made me realize that I wanted to be more of an instructional leader than a building leader in terms of administration. And then I went to work for the State Department of Education before I went on my own. I'll tell you right now, the best role I had, and I didn't appreciate it at the time, was classroom teacher. You know, right there when you're with the kids and you're seeing the magic happen and you're being creative every day. I know it's hard to get further away in the details, and when the world's exploding all around you, it's hard to see the light in the finish line. But I'll tell you, the best experience I had was in the classroom. I miss it every day. I'd go back if I could. And there's sometimes I really think about it. So that's the position I miss the most.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. And I love it. The magic happens in the classroom, right? That's where all of it happens. So I appreciate you telling me that. John, how about you? What is your background and different roles, and which one's your favorite?
Yeah. So started teaching as an emergency credential teacher. My wife wanted me to be on her same vacation schedule. Did about a decade in the middle school, got to open high school from scratch. Only do that if you know what you're getting yourself into, because it's first prom, first homecoming, first graduation, first dance, first football game. Oh my God, it's so much more. And rose to the level of assistant superintendent of a county, and then ended up running Computer Reason Educators, which is the largest educational nonprofit in California, and fired myself. And I made Eric's dream come true. Went back to teach 6th grade during COVID.
Wow.
Yes. And Eric's as good as you thought it was. All my friends were DMing me, bro, are you okay? I'm like, I'm going back to the classroom and you're asking me if I'm okay. So last thing I want to share, though, is, guys, I've been in over 1,000 classrooms in the last 3.5 years. And you can take away those cell phones and they'll bring out their pogs. And you can take away those pogs and they'll bring jacks. And you can throw away the jacks and they'll bring dice. And they'll start pitching pennies. You know why? The children are bored. And I'll let somebody else have the chair now.
Oh my God. You know what, Josh? I don't know if anybody knows, but that law just passed in Texas, right? So it goes into effect August 2025, where cell phones are banned K through 12. So it's going to be interesting what happens here in the state of Texas when they start banning, because I think I'm with John. They're just going to pull something else out. If the class is boring, the class is boring, man. So
the fidget spinners will be back.
I love it. I love it. Mr. Sean Kane, talk to me, buddy.
Oh, howdy. Okay, so like everybody, I taught the only subject that matters, secondary math. Y'all are welcome. Then assistant principal, principal, assistant soup. I finished up in public ed, state director of innovative redesign. I love fixing stuff. I see systems. Best job I ever had. Didn't realize it till much later. Assistant principal. It's the closest place you can be to make things better for every teacher and every kid. And you have someone above you that when you mess up, they say, don't do it that way. And you just go back to fixing things. So my retirement job, I'm going to be the greatest assistant principal ever on the stuff I like to do. And the stuff I don't want to do, I'll say, you know what? Let the other AP do it.
I love it. I love it. Takes me back to my AP world, and it was like the three. What is it? The 3 B's: buses, books, and what is it? Butts, books, and buses.
Books, and buses.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Jorge Valenzuela. Yes,
So
sir. Come
I'm
on.
having so much fun just listening to you all that I'd rather just listen than talk. But anyway, my name is George. I'm in Virginia. I'm from New York. I started out as a teacher back in 2002-3, and I started out as a STEM and a computer science teacher, actually tech ed, CTE. Not sure if you guys know about that. And then it went into computer science. And then I became a district instructional specialist around 2007. I was in a district where we saw a lot of success. But one of the things that I've noticed that from central office, we were telling teachers to do things we didn't know how to do ourselves. I had no interest in being a transactional leader, no interest at all, saying, hey, here's curriculum, here's books, we have a new speaker, flavor of the month, now figure it out. I wanted to be a transformational leader, someone who had the knowledge and skills, who can teach leaders how to lead and teachers how to teach. So I joined an organization called the Buck Institute for Education. Some of you may have heard of it. Right now, they're known as PBL Works. At the time, they were the #1 PD organization for PBL. It was almost like if you were a national faculty there, it was like having a credential in the PD world. Well, anyway, that took me all around the country. I was able to learn education, rural, city, urban, high performing, low performing, everything. And this fell in my lap, and I've been doing this ever since. So, it's a long story, but I'm here. I'm honored to be here. Josh, Dr. Moreno, you guys are amazing. And these 3 gentlemen, I'm getting to know 2 of them. I already know Eric, and it's an honor to be here with y'all.
Oh, we're going to get along real good, George.
Yep.
I'm just super excited because we have the best of the best here on this podcast right now. And I hope everybody out there, if you can please like and share it, because this is going to be the show. I think it's going to be the best. Right, Josh?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Hey, can't be the best without a great show. Group of people. Constance Sherrard, thank you for being here, part of the Fantastic Four family. My sister from South Carolina, Go Gamecocks. Sheikah Houston, thank you for being here. Our #1 PR agent of the Fantastic Four, Dot McKeever Jeter, thank you for being here. I'm glad you make me always worried about my Facebook connections. I'm glad I connected it correctly. Welcome to Dr. Amy, who just retired here in Texas. She's been on a bunch of podcasts. Check her out.
She'll be subbing by Christmas. You watch.
Huh? Yeah,
She'll be subbing by Christmas.
Right, exactly. And Andrea Bittner, our sister from Pennsylvania. Thank you for being here and joining the show. Look, guys, you guys are everywhere, like I said. And when I talk to the audience, and I say, Sean Kane, who's that? I say, Baruti Kafele, who's that? People know, but people don't know. Does that make sense? People know Eric Francis. Yeah, the DOK, the wheel guy. I think I heard about him. You know what I'm talking about. People know, but people don't know, especially in our field. But the thing is, facts. These guys are everywhere. They're all over this country, if not international. So I just want to keep this kind of superficial so that people know that we're facing the same dilemma. So Sean, based on all your visits, the hundreds of schools that you visited, and everybody else also, what do you see as one obstacle currently in schools? One obstacle. Doesn't matter pre-K, doesn't matter middle school, elementary, high school. What's one obstacle that you see out there? The point of this question is to make sure that we understand that whether it's Utah, whether it's Wyoming, whether it's Maine, we're seeing the same common trend, especially after that gap, that 2-year gap during that. So, Sean, what do you see out there in your experience?
I see two things right now. I see people not planning enough for what they're going to do the next day, so they end up winging it, and not enough high yield instructional practices. But you can't wing a high yield instructional practice. You got to plan to do it, and so not only you got to plan for it, and then you got to have administrators out there helping cue people to do those things and get better at them, and understanding its process. What I tell every single teacher is, I'm not trying to make you the teacher I was, because I would fire me. I'm trying to help you become a teacher I wanted to be. And that takes coaching and support and planning. So you can't just show up with a good attitude to make it happen. You got to prepare for it. So that's my thing. You got to plan to be better, and we're not doing enough planning to be better.
Eric.
I see a lot of kids who are engaged, but my question is, how do we know they're getting educated? How do I know that they're really, really learning? Engagement's great. I see a lot of kids involved. I see a lot of kids on devices. But how do I know that they're getting educated? How do I know that they're taking that experience with them, which is huge? Did they learn for the day, or did they learn forever? And that's the big thing I'm seeing. I'm also seeing a lot where we need to start looking at learning through the lens of the learner, not from the view of the board. It's not what the teacher is doing. It's not even how the teacher is delivering the instruction. It's how the student is engaging in and experiencing the instruction. I've been doing a lot lately with actually the affective domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Are they receiving it? Are they responding to it? Do they find the value to it? Are they organizing what's essential or not? Most importantly, are they characterizing it as their own? So that's the big thing I'm wondering about. How do I know the kids, even though they're engaged, how do I know that they're getting educated? And a big focus on that needs to be on communication.
Thank you for sharing that. Hey, John, I never asked you this. Were you affected by the fires, my man?
No, and yes. We did not see the sun in our area for about 90 days that year, the big fires. But the recent Palisades fire, no, that's 4 hours for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you see, John? What do you see out there in your visits?
Well, I'm going to add on to what Eric said. I'm going to start with this, though. We as a profession can't get out of our own way. Okay? All right. Oh, I need the children to be quiet. I need the children to do this packet. This is all teacher culture. Okay? This would not fly in NASCAR, in the NFL, in the NBA, in the WNBA. You know why? All they care about is results. Teachers only care about style. And when I see teachers breaking out and doing things different, you know what they say at the PLC meeting? Hey, Eric, can we get on the same page? Which is code for knock it off. And that's what I see a lot. And you guys, I said this earlier, the way I do PD is unique. I show up and I take over your classroom. Remember the nanny swap show? I come over and I get all the crap lined up, and I get all the kids writing, and I get all the kids excited about learning. They don't even know my name because kids are gamers, and I get them gaming. Let's go. Game kit. Let's go. We're going to play. Let's write a sentence. Let's write a paragraph. Gets kids really excited. And here's the problem. And you're going to hate this, Josh. While I'm doing this, all the kids are working. All the kids are writing. I can send you video after video. And there's always a kid that looks up and goes, "Can you come back tomorrow?" And I have to tell them no. I have to tell them that I'm trying to show your teacher what your classroom could be like. And so the single biggest problem I see is teachers say things like this: "That's not my style of teaching. You're techie and I'm not techie. Our district makes us do this." To which I say, let's quit and go work in another district, because I don't want to wake up in 20 years because I say I could have been a good teacher, but my district made me do packets. So the biggest thing is teachers have got to open their mind to the possibility of how students really learn and quit trying to ram 1974 down their throat. Heads up, I was in school in 74. I know exactly what it was like. It was ugly.
Nice. Dr. George Valenzuela.
Hey, Johnny, in Chicago, I was at a school where the little kids were asking me to be their daddy.
Yeah.
And
kids will follow a leader. Kids will not follow a cliche.
It was one of the worst feelings in the world. So when you
Yeah.
walk out of there knowing, oh my God,
That's
I'm
it.
not coming, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, 3 things I've seen. I like what Sean said about high impact strategies. So the highest impact strategy, according to Hattie, that is the biggest determinant of student achievement or success is collective teacher efficacy. And that's the number one thing we don't see in the buildings. I walk in classrooms, I work with leaders, I work with teachers, and we're seeing that we're not on the same page about the kids socially, academically, and emotionally, and also culturally. Another thing I've seen is a breakdown in relationships, which I think it ties back into that collective efficacy. But the third thing, there's a lack of teacher quality. Well, I'm sorry, let's reframe that. Teacher clarity about what I'm doing each day. I think that a lot of teachers might have got a textbook in the lecture in the pre-service program. Some came to us online during the pandemic, whatever. They don't fully understand how to begin the lesson, right? How to engage kids, how to stop and, just so many different aspects of instruction that is missing. So they're not very clear about what to do at each point. So those 3 things I've seen.
Can I hop in real quick, Josh?
Yes,
because George got me thinking about this. He mentioned collective teacher efficacy, right? What is the least effective teacher behavior?
Lecture and whole group.
Lecture, which is a negative 0.26,
Mhm.
right? Guess what is worse than lecture? Boredom. Boredom's a negative 0.5.
Mm.
Most people know those two, but here's the wrinkle. What's the most effective strategy according to Hattie? Jigsaw.
Okay.
When's the last time you saw somebody doing one?
I did it
Right.
last week. It's
Yeah!
Of course.
it's
Of course,
1.28
right, of course
on my
we do.
Instagram.
But this is where you got me thinking, George. We don't follow the research. The research says do reciprocal. The research says do jigsaw. And you know what we say? My district won't let me. I don't like that style. This is the workbook that I like. If this was the NFL and everybody could make a 4th and 1 with a tush push, what would we do, Josh?
Go.
We would all be pushing that tush.
Go.
But in teaching, our friend does better than us on the scores, and we say, can we get on the same page? That is part of the problem. That is
Well,
the genesis.
I want to hop in there because you said a couple of things. NFL, the world is football, but tie in with George and Johnny. We have people coming in who want to be there. There's no question about that. We know better ways to teach now, but we don't train the people who come in. We're always waiting for someone else. I keep telling principals, if you don't have your own onboarding, induction, ongoing training program, your people aren't getting better. And you don't need to have an in-service day. You schedule on your calendar every 3 weeks. On Monday during conference periods, we have a little 45-minute bite of how to do this better, and we train on that, and then we coach and cue on that for the next 3 weeks, and we build up their skill set. And I'm going to apologize to every teacher here right now, but I tell every principal, you always tell your staff they're the varsity. Right now, our staff is the 8th grade B team, but we are going to coach you up and turn you into varsity. But if I don't take that coaching role seriously and think about what skills my teachers have, they're on their own. That's a lonely place to be right now.
Exactly.
And most schools right now, Sean, would you guys agree? Most schools are going to lose between 15 and 25% of their teachers every year, which means every 4 years you might have a new staff, which means if you're not training against the cliche, you'll end up with a bunch of people who want to hand out peachy folders every 5 years.
We say
you
everything
have got to disrupt what they want to do.
Hold on. I got to jump in. You guys are badasses. That's why
Hey, yo, these
I
guys
put all
took
of
over
you
your
guys
show.
together. But we got to stop because I got 8 questions and I know I'm not going to get to it.
True.
Because
Let's
it'll
go.
be 1 in the morning and we're going to get logged off. So I remember what I said. We're only going to cover the top. We can't come back for session number 2 later. So I got you. That's why you guys are together. That's why I know each one of you. You guys have lava fire. So let's just hold on to that. But before that, a big shout out to future guest Miguel Castillo for being here, and past guest Central Hicks. Love you, brother. Love seeing you at TASSP. Constant Sherrard, thank you for being here, and Andrea also for the comments. Stick.
I love it because you guys are all passionate. You guys are all passionate about what the work that you guys do every single day. So, but you know what? Along those lines, you guys were already talking about my next question. And my next question is all about being in the classroom. And you guys are already kind of talking about that already, because if we're not in the classroom, we don't know what's happening. So again, being an administrator, because we were all there at one point, right? Being an administrator, you're being pulled and tugged in different ways. You have that parent that's upset, and you have that discipline, you have that investigation, you have so many things going on that getting into the classroom sometimes is difficult. But I want you to give advice to that new administrator out there, the importance of being in these classrooms and supporting teachers, and consequences for not being in these classrooms. And I'm going to start off with George.
All right. So the classroom is the incubator for whatever any class or the school needs. Someone that's an AP, is that who we're talking to? Assistant principal?
We're talking principals, assistant principals, yeah, because they're all going into these classrooms. They're all observing, right?
Anyone supporting teachers who's not visiting classrooms and seeing instruction in real time will never have their finger on the pulse of what's needed by those kids and those teachers. It's impossible. That's why you get a lot of PD that's flavor of the month. That's why you get a lot of these speakers that don't always have the receipts. So I think it's important that we go in and we understand who we're viewing. In my work, and I've been doing instructional rounds and learning walks for about 18 years now, and I have those receipts as well. And what I've seen, there's three types of folks. There's one teacher who's all that. She knows she's all that. And sometimes she's going to know more than you. So you got to be careful how you give this person feedback, because you can't disrespect them. Then there's a person who has overvalued themselves. You know, like that person who says, I'm a 10, but they're not, but they're like a 5 or a 4, right? They've overvalued themselves. They do some things well. Yes, they do, but they need a nudge. With this person, you got to watch their ego, because if you say the wrong thing, say it the wrong way, instead of building rapport, now you've ruined the relationship. And you're going to need relationships. Relationships are the most important thing in life. And this is my opinion. If you're over 40, you understand that. Relationships are the most important thing in life, but the most difficult thing in life to nurture and foster and all of that. And then the third one I've seen is a struggling teacher. And with this person, we need a lot of empathy and remember where we started. Everyone in education started somewhere, and we have to respect, honor that. And then if we don't know how to give them feedback, timely feedback, then we have to learn that. But we have to be in the classrooms. And I would not give feedback in passing, or something that was hearsay. You go observe, you stay there long enough to see what's happening, and you provide feedback in a kind, specific, and helpful way.
George, thank you so much. And I love the fact that you kind of broke it up into 3 different groups,
Yeah,
right?
those are types I've seen, yeah. And,
Right, because it's important. You have to differentiate your own type of feedback when you're delivering this feedback to different people, right? So go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to add one more thing, but I got these
Okay.
guys here, so yeah, let them go.
Well, the next question, you'll bring it in, okay? But yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much for sharing. Sean, how about you? How do you stress the importance of going into these classrooms? Because I'm telling you, I mean, you've been an administrator. You know how it is as far as tugging between different things. And you know what? Sometimes instruction ends up being in the back burner.
Well, first thing is, if we're talking to new administrators, the only place where you can get ground truth is to be on the ground where the truth is happening. That's in the classrooms. And if you're not out there, every bit of information you're getting is being colored by agenda. And agendas aren't bad, but if I have the wherewithal to come and talk to Eric or Johnny or George, it's because I want something. And so I'm coloring it based on my needs. So I got to see what's going on for real, because I'm the one who drives all the resources. Then the other thing is, I tell young administrators, there's a couple things. I want to visit lots of classrooms. So I'm a statistical sampling guy, right? So I know I can get a much more accurate picture of what's going on in the school by 30 3-minute observations than by one 30-minute observation. So if I see a teacher struggling with something and no one else is, that's a personnel issue. I can coach you up. But if I see that Josh is having a problem and you're having the same problem and George is having the same problem, then I raise it. That's a system issue, and I'm the only one who can see it. Let's get some training. Let's get some support. Let's get some solutions developed. So I'm the only one who can problem solve. When I say I, the leadership team, who can problem solve at a grand scale. And I got to put myself in that position. Otherwise, I'm not adding value. I'm just putting out fires that people bring to me. So that's how I get in front of things. And
I love that.
And it's okay to say, I don't know. That's the other thing I tell administrators. Admit that you don't know. We're going to keep watching until we find the answer.
Yeah. I love it. Differentiating between is it a personnel problem or is it a system problem?
And if it's a system issue, it's mine. Yeah, I'm the one who can get in front of that.
You can go into multiple classrooms and find out. Absolutely. Is it a content? It could be a teach that you're having a problem with, an objective. And so you need to get somebody to help you with that. Awesome.
It's usually pedagogy. It's almost always pedagogy.
Absolutely. Eric, how about you?
I would say you got to ask yourself this question. Are you performance driven or are you learner driven? Are you looking at the outcomes or are you looking at how and why those outcomes are happening and what you could do to ensure those outcomes can happen? I've been talking a lot about that. I've been rereading Think Again by Adam Grant. Chapter 10 talks about the difference between a performance-based culture and a learner-based culture. Performance-based culture is very centered in education on the teacher. What do I need to teach? What do the kids need to know? What do the kids need to do? How they do? How do I do? What I say learner-based culture is you have to look at it to say, what do the kids need to learn? How deeply do they need to learn it? That's set by the demand of the standard. What do they need to succeed? That's the diverse needs of the students. And also, how can we ensure that the students have not only just the capability, but the opportunity to succeed and even thrive? That's the big thing. What's really great is that also, because Josh, you're going to love this. Rudy Kafili just wrote a book called What Value Do I Bring to My School Instructionally? What if I told you I'm actually having schools that I work with read that book? Their principals read that book before they even read any of mine that I'm going to work with them. Because one of the things I'm seeing, and I see this coming from a district office, we can't add another thing to the principal's plate. Okay, so what the four of us do here is not another scoop of ice cream. Where are the toppings? Where are the flavor? You already do this, and you should be doing this, but we give you the flavor. We give you through the Edu protocols that John does. We give you through the PBL Plus that George does. We do through the instructional leadership that Sean does. We do it through questioning and DOK through me. If your district office is communicating that principals don't need another thing on their plate, this is not another thing. This is the toppings on your sundae. This is what gives it flavor. So what district offices need to do is not only they have to look at the teachers in the classroom, but they got to look at how are the principals, the site-based administrators acting as instructional leaders. Yes, you got the paperwork. Yes, you got the discipline issues. Yes, you got the due dates. Yes, you got your duties. But like Rudy Kafili says, instruction is where the rubber hits the road. And if you're not bringing that to your school, then all you're being is, sorry, I'm going to say it, you're a building manager. That's it. You need to be an instructional leader. Your job is not to put out fires. Your job is to inspire, not just your kids, but also your staff.
Eric, drop the mic.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I'm not talking anymore.
George will know what I mean by this. Pipe bomb. That was a CM Punk pipe bomb right there.
John, that's a hard one to go after, but let's see what you got for me.
I got a lineup for you. So my degree is actually in advertising.
Okay.
And if you open up a new tab and type in Moore's Law of Diffusion, what you're going to see is a thing that looks exactly like a bell curve. Okay. And I'm agreeing with everything that's being said so far, but I'm going to show you the surreptitious way to not get fired after your first year. Okay. So you need to know about Moore's Law. You have innovators. The people in this group are innovators. Innovators do their own thing. They live by their own code. They make things when they want to. Then you have early adopters. Early adopters see something one time and they're like, yes, I want that. They see ChatGPT. Let's go. I made an account. Then we have our majority. We have early and late majority. Early and late majority people tend to shop at Target. You know why? It's safe. It's safe. I know what I'm getting. It's not edgy. It's safe. And then we have our laggards. Our laggards are the people that are very, very likely to not participate in anything. They're the people that still have a flip phone and love it. So we've got to understand. Well, I see you out there, Josh. Now, what we've got to understand is that when we put 40 teachers in the cafeteria after school and say, we're gonna fill in the blank. We're going 4 C's. We're going Buck. We're going project-based. We're going to ditch the textbook. Whatever you say, you need to know that 55% of the people in the room right now are actively thinking this is a stupid idea and I'm not doing it. So the subtlety that I'm bringing to what everybody has shared is you got to find the 4 or 5 teachers that will play ball. You got to let them cook for a few months. You got to let them do the thing. You got to get them to make a friend. This is how old I am. If I tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends and so on, Fabergé commercial, this is a 3-year process to flip a school. Okay. Now you can come in and make everybody do something. You may not survive it because that 55% are going to be calling their school board member who's an uncle or cousin. They're going to be telling all the parents you're crazy. They're going to be doing things. They're going to be calling the State Department of Education. Can we do this? Is it legal? Okay, I want all my stuff to be Skunkworks Area 51 until I have data. And here's a statement for all you young admins. Until we have data, everybody has a story. And if I've got Josh and George and Eric growing their students 40 points this quarter, I have a data conversation, not a teaching style conversation. Because my question is your teaching style no growth? Because I got these 3 people growing, let's get on that bus. You have to understand that 10 or 15% of people are never going to come on board with your big initiative. And if you fight them, you're going to use up all your time and goodwill fighting people who ain't going to do nothing. Find the good people, give them space, have them make 2 friends. You can flip your school in 2 to 3 years.
And that is fact.
I have to jump in right there.
Go ahead, George.
I wasn't going to do that, but what Johnny just said, that is the point of the night. You can't get everyone on board immediately. It doesn't work that way. And it's not a corporation where people just get fired if they don't do what they're supposed to. It doesn't work that way.
You are married to these people.
Right.
You piss them off, you're not getting dinner for the rest of your career.
This is where it's changed. We kept saying, back when I was administrator, there was 40 people lined up for one teaching job. I could plug and play all I wanted.
Yeah.
Now you got 40 openings for every teacher. So you got to coach them up. You got to have a game plan. You got to have a process, and you got to coach because that's the team you got. And if you're not a good coach, you're not going to be successful.
I want to add
no professional coach will say, I could win if I had a better team, because they will no longer be a coach. Giving it up to you, Eric.
I got to add to that as well, though. But the teachers also have to have the onus on it, is that basically if you're not producing results and you refuse and refute the initiatives, that's not an instructional issue. That's an HR issue.
Well,
okay.
The superintendent hired me played for Lombardi, so old man. But he just said the only unforgivable sin is not being coachable. If you're coachable, we got time. But as soon as you say I'm not doing it, you're on the clock. You better produce, or we'll get someone else.
So it's kind of funny, John, when you're talking about that, because you're talking about the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, late majority, that the fusions of innovation. That's actually what I've been doing a lot of PD is I call it the educational momentum framework. But what I say is, who are the people who are willing and wanting to listen, learn, and lead? I can't tell you how many times I go into a PD and I'm there to talk about depth of knowledge, and about 80% the staff is like, what does this have to do with me? And what happens is it becomes frustrating, not just only for the teacher, but it's also for me, because I've been brought in to talk about DOK or inquiry or standards-driven learning. And I got teachers who tell me I'm not assessed. Why do I got to teach the standards?
Ooh,
Or
I'm
I
not
have,
assessed.
I have teachers who tell me, the standards don't fit what I'm teaching, or I'm leading this performance or whatever. How am I supposed to turn that over to the kids? If the leadership is not communicating the expectations to the staff to make sure that they understand this is the expectation and the efficacy we need to have, then it's all going to fall apart. What I've been trying to do is ask people, who are the people on your staff that are willing and wanting to listen, learn, and lead? And it's okay for them to ask questions, because that's part of a learner-based culture. Those are the people who should be leading the PD and initiatives. Because let's be honest, they look at us, we fly in, we don't know their kids, we don't know their school, but the instructional leaders do. And that's why they need to hear it from them, because they will trust them before they trust us, and they can establish the relationships. We can't establish the relationships we need for learning in a 2-hour to 6-hour PD, where 30 minutes is taken away for a staff meeting and also to do kudos and make announcements.
Oh,
So
the kudos.
thing is,
We don't got time for that, young admins.
right.
That's what
Wait,
Instagram's for.
Listen,
Hold on.
Hold on.
Time out.
Okay.
Oh,
John,
yeah, I do with the kudos. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Eric, Johnny, and George, we're going to talk for the next 30 minutes among
Wait.
ourselves.
I got
No kudos.
We're going into the next question. You guys, I knew this is why I planned the questions like this, because I knew you were going to lead me there. Okay, so Eric Francis,
Yeah.
what's one step? Eric, one step. John, one step. Jorge, one step. Sean, one step. What's
Just one.
one step that a new administrator can take to establish a culture of instruction, a delivery of an effective delivery of instruction? Because right now, this is remember, I'm an old fart. A lot of you were saying cute things like, I started in 97. Okay, that's very cute. I started in 92. Here we go. When we sit in PDs or like in national conferences, okay, this is big. This is okay. I got it. I got the general gist. This question is, tell me how. So remember, there's a lot of people out there that were doing the 3 Bs, or that one AP that did all the athletics but just became a principal. That cat don't know crap. Let's be factual. It's hard to find someone that did only athletics and did books to go lead high pedagogy. Facts, all right? And I could say that because I've been around. So what's one step, Eric, that a brand new principal, let's just say he or she, never was in there? They did the master schedule only. Let's just say they did the master, or they only did athletics, because those are big jobs.
Or discipline. All they did
Or
is
discipline. Oh yeah, in different parts of the country, there's only discipline APs. So what's one step they could take? Tell person X right now in Iowa, Eric Francis, what's one step they could take when they get there to establish a culture of effective delivery of instruction?
Be a learner.
What does that mean?
It means that open your mind to learning. You can know a lot, but you don't know it all. And you always need to make sure your mind is open to learn. You can look at things to say, hey, I get that, that works, or hey, I like that, or hey, I don't like that. But always try to figure out what's a way people can learn. That's what we do as professional development providers. We walk in. I mean, if you think about it, this is why people say to me, how am I supposed to differentiate instruction for 40 kids? I don't know. Try 100 adults who are teaching different subjects and have different grades and different experiences. You have to be a learner. You need to figure out not only how you can learn, but how can that other person learn? And it might be something that is completely out of your wheelhouse, but it's not about you. It's about the people you are teaching, and it's about the people who need to learn. Meet them. Figure out how you could reach them. I like to say, how can you teach them by reaching them, or reach them by teaching them? You need to be a learner. You need to be open-minded to learning. And you also need to be open-minded and have that bold humility to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay, but I'm willing to learn what I can.
Dr. Valenzuela.
I think the very first thing is you have to admit to yourself and your staff what you know and what you don't know. And then you have to form your teaching team, PLC, collaborative team, whatever you want to call it. And these should be comprised of anyone in the building that is supporting teachers in instruction. You got your AP, your instructional coaches, those folks. And the team needs to really focus on what our core instruction is, our academic goals, and what is our core instruction and how we're going to meet these goals. And the 5 that I like, because they build instructional control. See, if you look at the research of what keeps people in the profession, it's self-efficacy. That's the overwhelming, big overarching thing, is they have to feel really confident in what they're doing. So the first thing is, whether they have scripted resources, whether they have to design lessons, they should be able to, on a daily basis, map their lesson and understand where they're going from point A to point B. Number 2, the promotion of literacy and numeracy across the entire curriculum. And if you're a non-ELA teacher, like we're talking, grammar, sentences that are coherent, citations, just like, basic things. And the same thing with math. We make logical connections to numeracy where we can. Now, the third thing, so numbers 1 and 2 in my framework, that's your core instruction. Well, that's what you're teaching. That's your curriculum. But number 3 is to now teach that using high impact, high yielding strategies. Numbers 1 and 2 is what you're teaching. Number 3 is how. And what I like to focus on is engagement and achievement. That's what I like to be. When I'm talking with someone, when I'm teaching, I'm coaching, I feel that if they're engaged, then they're going to learn, or they're going to want to learn. So you monitor that, and you monitor that, on a daily basis. And then the last thing, I think you have to monitor your impact on teaching. I think we have to feel really comfortable asking kids, asking trusted colleagues, keyword trusted, how I'm doing in my teaching. Can you come observe me? Check me out. See what I'm doing. How can I do that better? And I think that if a leader focuses on core things, right, the foundational things, then we can add all the other initiatives and all the great things after that. But you got to have the foundation first.
Awesome. John.
I love everything that's been said so far, 100% true. I've got a slightly different angle. Remember, my degree's in advertising. So I'm going to do a 4 C's review of my entire school. So the way I do this is I'm going to make a Google form with 4 questions, 1 through 10. Is creativity evident in what the students are doing, 1 through 10? Are students communicating, 1 through 10? Are students doing something that's critical thinking, 1 through 10? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with my team, whoever that is. Maybe I have an AP, maybe I have 5 APs, a TOSA. We're all going to sit down and we're going to talk about, is a worksheet a 4 C's assignment? It is not, because on a worksheet, if you're working together, that's outsourcing. That's not collaboration. It's not critical thinking. You're probably if you're communicating, it's probably cheating. So what practices can we observe? And so I'll just send the whole team around. We hit classrooms for about 5 to 8 minutes. All we observe is critical thinking present? Is communication present? Is collaboration present? And I learned this from the Classroom Rounds book. And basically, we're all going to hit 10 classrooms in one morning. We're going to rank them 1 through 10 on the apparent amount. We are not going to track the teacher's room number. We are not going to track the teacher's name or grade level. That part doesn't matter. If we have 30 classrooms and we visit 12 or 15 and we see only worksheets, we know what our problem of practice is. If we see only lecture, we know so the first thing you got to know is what is happening day to day. And what I love about the Classroom Rounds idea is that whatever 10% of your classrooms are doing when you pick randomly is what we are doing organizationally. You can't build your laurels on your outliers, and you won't make your career firing bad teachers. What we've got to do is we've got to understand this is how we teach. And it's great. You guys imagine the staff meeting. I go, look, we went to 23 classrooms over 3 visits. On average, we are a 2.6 for creativity. Who am I talking about? Everybody. So I'm not picking on anybody. We are a 3.3 on communication. Now, when we come back in 5 weeks, and I think Sean talked about this, we're going to show you a few techniques. Start using them, because we're going to hit classrooms in 3 to 4 weeks at random. And I want to see us move from a 1.8 on creativity to a 3.5. And people, we do not have to get to a 10. But wouldn't it be nice to be at a 6? And if you get to a 6, man, you're just a hop to a 7. So I like this because it's non-judgmental, right? We're not picking on people by name. And it is whatever we see is whatever we see. And then we're going to work on that. And so the name of the book is Classroom Rounds. I'll look it up. It's by Richard Elmore.
Or you could do opportunity coaching.
Yeah, there's 100 different ways. I just wanted to give the Instructional Rounds book a credit on that. I will say that if you read the book and you're a type A personality, you need to loosen your bandage a little bit, because that process is way too painful. It involves getting tons of subs and meetings and Post-it notes and all the things teachers hate. Dude, just hit the classroom with a Google form and then rank creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and whatever the other one is. I can never remember more than 3 at once, but if I write them down, I'm safe. But it's a way for you to build a data wall that says when we hit every classroom over 3 weeks, we're seeing a 2.9 in critical thinking. Let's go, people.
What a great segue to Mr. Sean Kane.
I'm gonna go back to, we got a brand new administrator. You want to impact instruction. You're going to do 2 things, not one thing. Sorry, Josh. There is no one thing. There's 2 things. Ready? Number 1, get your butt in the training and participate with your teachers. If you are not there, it is not important. It's not going to happen. So I got to be there. I'm going to sit with them. I'm not going to do my email, my phone. I'm going to participate, because the bottom line is I probably need to learn how to do it anyway. And then I'm going to get in lots of classrooms almost immediately with the idea we're going to try. If you don't force implementation almost immediately, and you wait till you're ready, you just miss the opportunity. So we're going to start trying. And I'm going to start watching my teachers. I'm going to watch my teachers who struggle, the teachers who are sort of the middle of the pack, and my teachers who are getting it. Because I want to figure out what the margins are. If you look at those 3 groups of teachers, they do 80% of the same stuff. It's the margins that separates that really exceptional teacher from the one who's struggling. If I can figure out what's going on in the margins, I can help spread that along and coach people up. But I'm not going to know how to do it, because what we train on is stuff I didn't do. We're constantly pushing the envelope forward. But I got to be in the training. I got to watch my teachers. I got to look at the margins, and I got to start coaching and talking. That's all. That's all.
That's
And
all.
Teachers love admins that do the PD with them.
Right.
Yes.
They love that. They love it when you're doing the activity with them. Because if it's a bad day and after the end of it, you can say, God, that guy was horrible. I see it now.
Right.
And if it's a good day, you can say, we're going to do all that stuff. I get it. It totally works. I'm going to do my staff meetings that way.
Do you know what we call a professional development when the principals aren't there? Babysitting. It's terrible, because it's been communicated it's not important. So the people who aren't already intrinsically motivated tune out.
And you got to be honest. You got to be honest with the administrators too, because I'll tell you right now, if they're not in the room, the teachers see it.
Yeah.
So there's no so the teachers know that, oh, there's not a buy-in. They're just turning it over to us. That's the big thing. Is that I can't tell you how many times I've had PD with teachers and the administrator is not in the room, and continuous PD administrator is not in the room, and the administrator would say to me, Eric, I'm not seeing it. And I go, I'm not surprised. What do you mean you're not surprised?
You weren't there, bro.
You weren't there. How do you
And like Johnny says,
yeah.
when they go, we can't do that. Well, when they say, well, the district let us do that. Well, Josh, you're the principal. Can we do that here? And Josh goes, yes. Everyone goes, okay. But if Josh's not there, well, who are we supposed to listen to?
Right.
So can I know we got, but can I make a full, honest, transparency thing that can tell you? I am trying to do PD where you don't see me. I'm
Okay.
like Jerry Maguire. Okay. Help me help you. The leader is the one who should be leading what we do. Why? Because they're there every day. What's going to happen when we're gone? The leaders are the ones who have to take it over. I've even set up a train-the-trainer model where the leaders would do and become basically what I do with the strategies I do with DOK and Inquiring Minds and Standards-Driven Learning. But what if I told you that actually that I got pushback because I've had leaders say, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up to go and lead my teachers and provide the professional learning and provide that.
Well,
What's
that's
your
the
job?
principal that's just aiming to be a superintendent. They're
That's-
just passing
I
through,
would even
bro.
say that. I would
Okay,
say,
okay, all right. Let me bring it back.
I would,
Let me
I
bring
would
it
even
back.
say,
Hold on,
I
let me bring
think
it back.
a person who does not have the strong instructional leadership skills.
Yeah.
And that's what really we're hired to do. They're not hired there just to put out the fires. They're hired there to inspire. And
Yeah.
that's what you do as an instructional
right.
leader.
I got you. I agree with you. As an acting principal on a campus, I agree with you. I think that we need to role model the expectations. All of you, except for John, I've brought into one of my homes. Soon to be Jorge. I'm gonna bring you to my home, and the thing is, it's crucial that the person that I bring in, I know they're speaking off of my vision
Mhm.
because I'm the one that has to live there. And if I'm held accountable for the students' progress academically, I need to know that my rep that I spend kids' money on, that they're speaking my vision. And my vision is making sure that the kids learn, not that the teachers teach, but the kids learn. And that cannot happen without me, the person in the chair that use kids' money to bring in these cats from around the country. So if you're out there and you're a brand new administrator, I don't care about the cheerleading mom. I don't care about the softball mom. If you gotta go powder your nose, go powder your nose. But as the administrator, you need to know what these people here are saying, because you know what? You use kids' money to bring them to your campus. You use for them to pay for their hotels and their cars and their meals. You need to make sure that you do the fiduciary responsibility for that money because it's in the best interest of kids. And number two, it's very important, and I'll give this one out to you again, that once these individuals leave your campus, we've had Andrea, you see me on social media, I post people that have come to my home, okay? I'm letting you know right now that once these people are there and the practices are not happening and I'm not in the classroom, shame on me. Shame on me for not following up with what's happening in that classroom. And if something is not happening in the classroom, then you know what? This is the last part I'll say this. You, administrator, you wanted leadership. You better have the wherewithal to have those crucial conversations. Yeah, I understand about loving people. Trust me, I know. It's culture and climate. I got you. But if that person right there that you brought the training for, that person that you did the book studies for, that person refuses to evolve and stay a silo, then you got to tell Joe Smith, you're not the right fit for us. How can I help you move on to the next level? How can I help you move on to the right place? So it's crucial. If you want a true environment where learning takes place, you need to have those awkward conversations. And if not, then don't become the leader. Don't become the person, because you know what? That one teacher is ruining a batch of kids.
Yep.
Because they want to be giving dittos. I can only speak to you as someone that's doing the job right now. And I'm doing the job in a school that's all at risk. They're all tier 3 kids. Every single last one of my 462 kids are at risk. And if I don't do it, then I am wasting taxpayers' money. And you know what? I sleep well at night because I know that I do great things. Hey, if you like what's going on, please make sure that you like and share what's going on, because you know what? This is awesome stuff, just like all the other 58 shows. Like it and share it right now. Take 2 seconds, like it and share it. Melissa Jones Jr. from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I see you out there. Stick, Dr. Mari Moreno.
Awesome. Oh my God. Talk about facts and talk about truth, right? That's all we're doing is talking those two things. And so thank you so much for that, Josh. And so I'm going to start off with John. So John, my next question to you, sir, is all about supporting new teachers, because you said it earlier. Somebody said it. we're getting new teachers all the time in our classrooms, and sometimes they're alternative certification people, right? They're not even
I
went
was
through the
one.
whole.
There's nothing
I
wrong
was
with that.
one too.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. And I remember as a campus administrator, we need to make sure that we are supporting our new teachers because one, we want to make sure they return, right? Because what's happening is that revolving door. They come in for a year, they hate it, and they want to go back. They want to go do something else because they're not being supportive, or it's the hardest job because no one helped them out. So my question to you is just one strategy to help those administrators out there support new teachers on their campus because they're hiring them left and right now,
Yeah.
right? And so how are we making sure that we're supporting them?
I've seen this and I've done this. Okay. You get a new teacher there. Everybody's excited. You're in the honeymoon phase. You go to visit their classroom. You're horrified by what's actually happening. Okay. You check back in 7 weeks. You're horrified by what's actually happening. Do not make this mistake. There's a bunch of administrators who will then see that teacher as a lost cause, and they will release them on February 15th at the board meeting. That's the way the clock runs, you guys. Everybody that's not coming back next year in California is notified by February 15th. So this is what drives me nuts about the behavior. They cut the teacher off in November. That teacher's now ghost teaching your 5th graders or your 6th graders. Those kids deserve an excellent year. They do not deserve a throwaway year. Okay. So my difference is I'm going to go to that struggling teacher very early on, and I'm going to tell them the facts. Okay. My job is to put the best teacher in the classroom. You are not that right now. You need to take your God complex off because I need to let you know that you'll be gone by February if we do not change the style of teaching. I love the way you work with kids. I love your professionalism. I love how much money you spend outside of your own pocketbook. I'm going to teach you how to quit doing that. But until we change pedagogically, you ain't coming back next year. And we need to be honest with people with that because, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I see this all over the place. And I see administrators losing half of their new teachers every year because it's so wild right now. The prep program isn't preparing them. And I'm going to wrap up with this, Dr. Moreno. I tell young teachers this: when you were 10, you put all of your stuffed animals on the bed and you taught them. And that is not an effing thing about what we do. Those in your classroom, those are 30 humans. They have feelings. They have needs. They have opinions. And when you're full of crap, they will tell you. If you punish them for that, this is not the career for you. Get out. And you got to be honest with those young teachers.
I absolutely love that because what happens is administrators don't, one, tell the truth. And at the end of the day, it's a surprise. Like, what? You're going to fire?
What do you mean? What? Yeah,
What
that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. So again, with my young teachers, I'm going to observe them within about a week, maybe 2.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to hit them again and hopefully once a day if I can. Because what's more important than onboarding a new professional? Like that's one of my most important things. And those kids deserve an excellent experience. Again, they only get 6th grade or 9th grade one time in their whole life. I do not want to be part of the person that messed that up for them.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Eric, how about you? What's one strategy to help support those new teachers that are coming in? What can you tell an administrator out there?
It's not about you. It's about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here's a sad thing, a sad commentary. I see a lot of things going on there. I don't know whether it's the Instagram, social media, TikTok generation, where I see the phones on them. Look what I'm doing. Look at me. I'm Sandra D. Look at, whatever it is. It's not about you. It's about what you do to impact and inspire those kids. And you don't take the bows. And it's not about it's kind of hard to even look at that because if you think about it, even our evaluation system, who's it all about? The teachers. Okay. What is that teacher doing up there? How is the teacher delivering their instruction? It's about the kids. How are the kids accessing what they're learning? What could you do to get that child to learn? to me, that seems like the most fun as being a teacher. It's like with PD. What we do is we don't just come in with a set of slides and say, this is the Dr. Valenzuela way. This is, the Edu Protocols way. This is the Sean Kane way. This is the Eric France. We're trying to figure out how we can reach you and teach you. And it's not about us. It's about you. If you looked at my computer, you would see hundreds of presentations, because I never do the same presentation twice. And I do that intentionally because my audience has changed. And I also want people talking. Hey, Eric didn't do that for us. We got to bring him back. Eric didn't do that for me. Maybe that, that's the thing. That's what makes teaching fun. Figuring out how the kids can learn. It's not that textbook you have. It's not even the great activity you did. Figuring out how the kids can learn. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about the kids. It's not about you. It's about what you do.
Awesome. I love that. Sean, how about you?
Own your induction program. Don't let it be outsourced to anybody else.
Yes, thank you.
So,
thank you.
On my campus, we had an 8-week program. Whenever you hired in, and it wasn't me. I had 8 people who had an expertise in something. So this person was an expertise in recognition. This one was an expertise in lesson closure. This one in classroom setup. And anybody who got new hired on the first Monday, they met with person number 1 after school for an hour on that. Next week, they met with the next person. So you went through 8 weeks of induction, and you went through induction if you were new to my building. I didn't care if you were a rookie or 10 years somewhere else, but if you were 10 years somewhere else, you didn't know it our way. So we made sure we gave you the tools and the training and the support to get on board fast. And then that at that point they have someone to talk to. And I built a lot of capacity from the leadership standpoint, because it wasn't one person who did it. And if you were picked to be on the induction team, you were a big deal. So people wanted to be on that team. But you got to own your own induction. Otherwise, it's not happening. And don't trust anybody else, because they don't know what you do on your campus.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every campus is different, right? And so you have to know the culture and the leadership. And so I love it. Thank you so much. How about you, George? What's your strategy to help support teachers?
So I think that we talked a lot about all the pedagogical strategies for planning, how to facilitate, but I want to really piggyback off what Josh and what Johnny were talking about, having difficult conversations. There's a quote, I'm not really sure exactly how it goes, but it goes along the lines like this. And I see that a lot of administrators have a hard time having difficult conversations for whatever reason.
They don't teach us. They don't. When you become principals, they don't teach us how to have those difficult conversations.
And here's the thing: there isn't any strong relationship. It's something like this: there isn't any strong relationship where there weren't uncomfortable and difficult conversations behind the scenes. And I learned this in my marriage. Like, my wife and I had some very difficult conversations. And what people don't realize is that oxytocin is a hormone that is developed when 2 people have struggled together. And there's a different bond that they share. Like, if we have an argument and I go to ChatGPT and I say, okay, what do I tell my wife? She knows if I'm reading that off a script. But if I struggle, I make mistakes, and we try to work together, then we can overcome it. And I've seen this in my personal life. Like, I had a guy that was installing an AC, and the guy was always late. He said he would do it in Thanksgiving. He was done in May. He didn't do it right. So when I approached him, I said, sir, now we have to have a difficult conversation. And the guy got mad. He took the AC and he put it on his shoulder. And then I stopped code switching. I'm like, yo, if you don't put that down, you're going to have a problem. So he put it down. He apologized. I saw him last month, and now we're friends. So I've realized that when you have a difficult conversation that you need to have, a come to Jesus, it's not comfortable. It's not going to be fun. But the people that are meant to be there and work with those kids are meant to be in your life. They're going to push through. I also had a conversation with another person. He didn't like it, and he stormed off. But you know what? You weed out the ones that don't belong with you, and you keep the ones really close that belong there. And so have the difficult conversations. And if you're not built like that, then you need to get built like that.
Yep, absolutely. And I love what Kimberly just said right there. You have to be able to read and study and be professional, right? We're always learning. We have to always be learning, and even us as consultants, we continue to read, we continue to listen to podcasts and go to conferences because we need to sharpen our own tools too. So absolutely, I love that. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing that. Josh.
Oh, we're getting towards the end of our questions. Woo! I think we might reach it, folks. Hey, Jefe's in the house. Jefe, thank you for being here. Principal Cafele, part of the Fantastic Four, the leader of the Fantastic Four.
He's got to rewind where I name dropped his book.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Eric Francis was saying Cafele.
He knows how I feel, how often I text him one-on-one. I'm telling you, he has written the book that all instructional leaders need to read. And I told him that when he first came out with it, right, Baruti? I mean, I told you that.
Eric, hold on, Eric. It's not a Jefe show. He has this on Saturday.
I know he does.
Hold on.
And we got a bunch of leaders here. If you're not reading that book, seriously, that's that's probably one of the best. And I know we got to talk about books later. I'll save it then because I'll talk about.
Yeah. Well, we're getting into that right now. We're heading into the commercial, but I will be remiss if I don't agree with my comadre, Dr. Moreno. Principal Kimberly May, facts. Acting principal, you have to make sure that you defend your kids, because in the end, all educators have their insurance. They're guaranteed a paycheck every 2 weeks or at the end of the month. Not that kid at risk. Not that kid that came in from El Salvador. Not that kid that is a teen parent. Not that kid that's falling through the cracks. Just because you want to be the cool teacher, that's not having the kid learn. Just because you want to be the diddle person because you partied the night before, no. That's why we need to be advocates sitting in our chairs for the advancement of that kid that you are the safety raft of success. So it's crucial that person is not on board. You help them along, get off, or they stay. Because you know what? We have a vested interest. Like someone said earlier in the show, we don't have 30 pages of candidates. We don't anymore. Right. So myself, Josh has a vested interest to making sure that all his family members are coached and supported. But if you're not doing right by kids, adios. Because you know what? You're harming their future potential in America. You're harming them and the possibilities that they have. But without further ado, let's go around real quick. I asked you guys to show Sean Kane any kind of books that you got out there for the audience before we head into our last two questions. Go.
Let's see. That's the one you got. If you're a new teacher, you want that one, the Fundamental 5. And then, teachers, you got to plan. You got to plan to teach better. There you go. Good book, Josh.
Yes, sir. Mr. Eric Francis.
Well, I got mine up there, which is Deconstructing Depth of Knowledge, Inquiring Minds Want to Learn, and now that's a good question. But I got it on Kindle, so I can't really show it physically. But I'm telling you right now, every instructional leader, and it's not only just because he's on here, they got to read Baruti Kafili's new book. I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Kimberly May, formerly known as SAFL, and she knows what I mean by that because I've been working with her for almost a decade. That woman walks her talk and she lives her truth. So when she's typing all that, that's her, and that's the reality in which she lives. She speaks it. She doesn't just preach it. She lives it.
Love it. Hot off the press, Dr. Jorge Valenzuela, the book.
My cat just unplugged my microphone and it won't come to the front. So listen, Instructional Innovation Plus is my new book. It's through Corwin Press. It's become a specialty signature service with the organization. We started in Tuba City, hopefully New Mexico. Y'all get the book. It really gets your teaching team on board. It gives you all those things we just talked about, core teaching practices, being on the same page, how to provide teachers feedback, how to align daily lessons, but then it gives you a system for how to inspect instruction using action research, visiting classrooms, and really collecting data, finding themes in the data, and then really developing PD that the school needs.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. And before I hand it over to John out in Cali, I would like to thank him for putting this show together. He's the one that says, let's get the band back together for the curriculum show. So, John, he reminded me a couple of times. That's why this great panel, this multi-$1,000 panel, literally is here on one stage. John, show.
Okay, I got one more trick for you guys. When you're going to do PD, imagine how is Thanksgiving dinner, Marie, when it's just your local family versus when the out-of-town people are in town. Everybody's dressed a little nicer.
Absolutely.
So when you're doing PD, invite somebody from the county office. Invite somebody from the district office. Invite somebody from other school districts and point them out. Oh my gosh, we're so happy to have them here. And all of your teachers will well, there's strangers in the house. I'm gonna act appropriately. Okay, book time. EduProtocols field guide. Several people said in the chat, we need a playbook. There is one. I've been using this since 1999 to be homework free and worksheet free. And guess what happened when I quit giving out homework? Nothing. The scores didn't go up or down. I was just way happier. And just for young administrators, there's deploying EduProtocols. We have 7 books altogether, but this one is for change leaders. This is going to teach you pedagogy that you can teach your own people. And I think we got like 5 books in development right now, but yeah. Thanks, Josh, for this. It's been great to hang out with you guys. We need to do like an admin PD event. You guys pick the spot. I'll show up. Let's just do it. Let's put all this knowledge in the room for a whole day and go bonkers. That's what I want.
Yeah, let's do a summit. Let's do it.
Telling you.
Yeah.
When you reminded me, John, and I knew that I could connect with all of you, I said, boom. NASSP has nothing on this panel right here. This is like a 2-day workshop minimum out there. Hey, in the interest of time, Dr. Moreno, I'll hand you over number 8, and then we'll do the lightning round.
Awesome. We can do that. You guys, super easy question because it is a fill in the blank question. So we're going to make it quick so that we can go on to the Échale Ganas questions. So let's start off with George. You ready, George? Fill in the blank, sir.
All right.
Hey, administrator, you can and will change delivery of instruction of your school by?
All right, so let's give it 4 weeks. Okay, I'll be visiting every other day. And if you need any extra modeling from me, fantastic. I got you every other Wednesday. And if not, I'll find you the teacher that can do it. But in 4 weeks, we need to see this done.
I love it. You're giving them a SMART goal, right? You're giving them time bound. You're giving them something to work on.
And I didn't say I said we.
We. I love it. Again, here's the question. Here's a sentence stem, you guys. Hey, administrator, you can and will change the delivery of instruction of your school by John.
End of first quarter.
End of first quarter.
Yep. Because people don't understand that the middle of the year is actually November, and they plan the middle of the year for February, and the year is 80% over for state testing. You got to get it done by October, or you're cooked. You will never make it.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Eric, how about you?
Repeat the statement again. Make sure I got it right.
Hey, administrator, you can and will change the delivery of instruction of your school by
asking good questions that activate and advance learning, not just assess it.
Love it. Sean Kane.
You will do it by closing your lessons. So close the lesson. It's the leading indicator that drives every other high yield instructional practice, because that feedback that the teacher gets at the end of the class, they will know if it worked or not. And if it doesn't, they start evolving quicker.
Love it. Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much. I know Josh is going to do the Échale Ganas, but I just want to make sure that I just thank each and every one of you, because man, you guys have street cred, you guys have the facts, and you know what? You did not hold back. Like you gave it all you got. So I appreciate it. And I really, really, I hope everybody out there learned something. And please like and share it, because I'm telling you, there is so much knowledge here that so many administrators need to hear.
All right, lightning. Hey, compadres, lightning round, okay?
Mhm.
That means quick answers, all right? The only one is number 2, all right? Quick answers, all right? So here we go. We're going to start off with Mr. Sean Kane, Fundamental 5 across the USA. So here we go, lightning round. Give advice to a substitute or an alternative certification teacher.
Close your lesson. That's
Read
it.
a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
It's all on me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you sent me today. I'm not going to read that out loud, but man, it got me. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. This is 2 parts. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you.
Oh, that's got, you saw him, Fred Richardson. So why I'm sitting right here.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
I'm going to name 5. They're all on this screen. So follow these people. They're great.
If you were a Marvel character, which one would you be?
Obviously, don't I look like Thor? That's why I'm from the neck down, because the biceps are just too huge.
What's your favorite video game or outdoor activity?
Skiing. Love to ski.
What's the best ribs in the country?
Any ribs we're having on my back porch with my friends.
There you go. Which decade, genre, and or artist is your favorite?
You got to go with the Beatles. Everything comes from them.
How can people reach and get your knowledge, sir?
leadyourschool.com. So just email us and go to the website, email us, we'll talk to you. Or
John!
come to conference. Come to conference. I'm always at conference. We'll talk to you there.
Yo, my wife wanted to know if he really looks like Thor.
He's short hair Thor.
Hey, John,
think
you
you
started
should-
this, bro.
No.
Hey Josh, can I go next? My wife's waiting to give me a ride somewhere, and I gotta
Okay,
wrap.
okay. Let's go, Eric. Oh, big shout out to my other brother, Sean Hurd, Fantastic Four, for being here. Thank you, my brother, for seeing the tail end of the show. Eric Francis, lightning round. Give advice to a substitute or an alt-cert teacher.
Wait a minute, John's got to go, so let's John go first, and then I'll go. How's
Oh no,
that?
I see. Yeah. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, sir.
I'm sorry. I said John, but okay, go, John, go.
John, go. Thanks.
Advice is you better be able to vibe with the kids, or it's going to be a long career.
Read a note, an email, or text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
I love the student that sent me an email about how I never popsicle sticked her in math because she was terrified of it. And she is so glad that I'm teaching other teachers to not use popsicle sticks. That's my favorite one ever.
Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
I love the work of Kim Voge. If you guys haven't seen Kim Voge, Voge, she's just happy, thoughtful, shares everything. You need to know it. She'll tell you what you want.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
If you're not following Matt Miller, because Sean already made everybody follow all of us, if you're a young admin who needs to know more about pedagogy, Matt Miller is your easy on-ramp for that.
Which Marvel character do you identify with?
Well, I don't look like him, so George is going to save your wife a trip to the camera. I wish I was Tony Stark. I don't know if I am, but I like the vibe.
What is your favorite video game or outdoor activity?
Oh, video game, World of Tanks. I'm ranked 5,900 in the world, just so you know.
All right. Where are the best ribs in the country, sir?
Okay, this is going to be a longer answer. You can get pork ribs that are good all over the place. Beef ribs are trickier. Phil's Barbecue in San Diego. That's where you want it. Phil's Barbecue.
Facts. Beef, not pork. Facts.
Yeah. Pork's great. You can get them everywhere.
Which decade, genre, and or artist is your favorite?
Depeche Mode, they did everything since the Beatles.
Okay.
How do you even argue with 75 albums? How do you argue with that?
Because you only need 7 good ones.
How can people get a hold of you, senor?
Probably my best place is Facebook. Just John Cripple on Facebook. And we have a group in there. You guys should join. I think Eric's in there.
Mhm.
22,000 teachers every day sharing what works and lifting each other up. And we don't do the negative talk. If you've ever been in a group where people are, everybody's about helping people and giving it all away. EduProtocols community will blow your mind.
Muchas gracias, señor. Blessings to you. Here we go. Eric Francis.
Yep.
On the screen. Give advice to a substitute or an alternative certification teacher.
I don't give advice. I make suggestions. You make decisions. That's from a Peloton instructor. That's also my coaching philosophy. Here's the thing. Breathe and give yourself grace.
Love it. Goodbye, John. Thank you. Read
Thanks,
a note.
you guys. Love it. I can't wait for round 2. Let's do this.
Read a note, email, or text from a teacher or student who inspired you.
Well, I got a really nice message from somebody this week when I was presenting at Learning Forward Texas, who said that was the best PD of both days. So I think that's really something that really resonated with me.
All right, this is a 2-part question. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
Jennifer Osger with Appreciative Inquiry. She's doing a lot of great work. And also Dr. Kelly Hastings. I just read her new book that's coming out. Was proud to write the forward for it. She's really got something there when it comes to the framework she's created. Can't wait for her book to come out.
One person people should follow on social media?
Greg Wolcott.
Which Marvel character do you identify with, Maverick?
Oh, Josh, you know me. Captain America. Love Captain America. And, you know, George, if your wife wants to look, I go as far as the blonde hair and blue eyes. That's it. I did once have a kid when I walked in. They go like this, go, whoa, you look like Captain America. I'm telling you, that made my life. You know?
What's your favorite video game or outdoor activity?
Swimming.
Where are the best ribs in the country, sir?
Oh, my gosh. I would say either Kansas City or Texas. Southern Texas.
That's too generic. Which decade, genre, and artist or group is your favorite?
Josh, Van Halen. Okay, when people say to me, do I like David or I like Sammy? I say, no, I like Eddie. In fact, this is the shirt for his son's band, Mammoth WVH, Wolfgang Van Halen. That's what I'm wearing today. So Van Halen, if not them, Led Zeppelin.
All right. Eric, not everyone knows that we know each other. We break bread. All right? Calm down, all right?
But people know me. It's like, seriously, when Eddie Van Halen died, I think I got 30 phone calls and texts like, are you okay?
All right. And how can people get a hold of Maverick and that DOK?
Well, they can go to my website, Maverick, Maverik, no C in Maverick, Maverik, education.com. They can follow me on Twitter at Maverick, Mavrik, I'm also starting a YouTube page where I'm starting to make some reels on there that you can just watch on your phone. And these videos are less than 2 minutes. So everything you want to know and understand and be able to do with DOK, just go watch the reels and hopefully you'll want to learn more.
All right. Don't hang up, man. I don't know why Sean hung up.
I'm
right,
saying, I haven't seen George in a long time, man. It's awesome to see you, brother.
All right, here we go. Let's close this out.
Sean is actually back. He just sent a private message.
Did he?
Yeah.
Where is he? Where did he
He's in
log
the
out?
waiting room.
Oh, all
There
right.
he is.
Thank you.
Hey, Thor, what happened to you?
I had to go to Asgard.
All right.
Captain America's talking to you
Here
here,
we go.
so, you know.
You missed Captain America, bro. You missed Captain America.
I've been watching.
All right.
All right.
We're closing off the show right now. Don't hang up after the last answer from Dr. Valenzuela. Give advice to a substitute or an alternative certification teacher.
Stop taking advice from people you don't want to be like.
Read a note, an email, or text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
All right, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I met a guy in New Mexico last week, and he just shouted me out on Facebook and said, you know, nice guy, lights up the room, things like that. And I appreciated that.
Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
So I want to give Eric a shout out. Eric Francis is an educator that every week I see him on LinkedIn, and every week he's promoting his work. He's uplifting others. And recently I've seen him doing videos. And when I saw that, I said to myself, you know what? Eric really works hard.
Thank you.
And other people need to see that. And if you want some amazing PD from a humble educator who knows his stuff, Eric Francis.
Wow. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that.
Tell the audience one person they should follow on social media.
My man, Dr. Don Parker. If he's watching, Don P in the Chi-Town. Yo, this guy is amazing. Also, Coach Carlos Johnson from Solution Tree. That's my guy. Follow him as well. Great guy. Works, does a lot of great work with kids. All right, go ahead.
Which Marvel character do you identify with?
I don't, because I'm from the 80s. So I have to go with Bruce Wayne. I got to go with Bruce Wayne.
Justice League of
DC.
America, baby. All right. What is your favorite video game or outdoor activity?
Hiking.
Where are the best ribs in the country, sir? Say it.
Buzz and Ned's in Richmond, Virginia, on the boulevard.
Facts.
That's
Those
where
are the
you need
pork
to, that's
ones.
where you need to go. Stop playing.
Facts.
All right.
Facts. So first you go to San Diego to Phil's, then you get the airplane. The food will go down. You won't feel like a python and land in Richmond and get the pork ribs. Facts.
Stop playing. Yeah, exactly.
Which decade, genre, and or artist group is your favorite, sir?
So I'm gonna do two real quick. In the 80s, Eric B. and Rakim. Rakim gave me the knowledge of self I needed. And in the 90s and early 2000s, Jay-Z gave the hustle.
Love it. And how can people get a hold of you and that podcast, sir?
Well, it says right there at George Does PBL. It's JORGE Does PBL. And on my website at lifelonglearningdefined.com. And the podcast is Lifelong Learning Defined Podcast for Self-Improvement.
Thank you to this awesome panel for being. Look, some of you, if you're a brand new administrator, you might not know. But when I tell you that this panel is thousands upon thousands, I'm telling you. Because they bring the receipts of success. They turn around schools because they know what they speak of. And this is the whole purpose of the Fantastic Four, that you are well taught and invested with the knowledge of Coach Hurt, Shika and Tammy, Principal Cafele, and the bookend, the PGP podcast. Because all this is free. Free PD. And right now you have no excuse. So if you haven't done it yet, like it and share it. We ain't getting no cash from this. There is nothing other than we know comfortably that at night you have become the best version of yourself, and that will go translate into the classroom, because you know what? There is a young kid out there that is looking at you, and they're always looking at us. They're always looking at us. They look at the custodian, they look at the cafeteria worker, they look at the secretary, they look at us in the classroom. For sure, they look at us as administrators, if they even know your name. Hey, administrator, do your kids know your name? I don't know. They know the teacher's name for that year, but do they know your name? And all of this free PD is for you. So please like it. Go into our YouTube channel. This is their 58 other shows. Just like next week, we got Superintendent Glenn Robin. And after that, we have the brand new book by Charlie Peck, and Josh Stamper will be here. And after that, we will have the international show. Again, you just saw we have people from Ghana, from New Zealand. We have people from all over Trinidad and Tobago on this panel. So it's very important that you hold on tight because it's free. What else are you doing right now? Wash dishes, listen to Principal Cafele. He just had a special ed show. What do you know about special ed? You don't? He just had it. You have somebody right now about breaking down data? You got Sean Hurt. What about brand new books for kids? You got Shika and Tammy. It's all free PD, and it's all for you. So please make sure that you join all 4 shows. It's nothing of cost to you, but the betterment of your students. Panel, thank you for being here tonight. Don't log off. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Night, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Like it,
Be
share the
safe.
show. We'll see you next week at